Good morning, everyone. Morning, Sammy. It is Monday, September 22nd, 25 here at Eagle Creek Park in Indianapolis, Indiana. As you can see, it is a glorious, beautiful day. And I specifically chose this time to do this because you know what? Even in the midst of an overcast day with lots of rain, there's so much beauty to be found, just in general, but especially in nature. And it's a glorious day to be sober, and it's a glorious day to be alive. And I was not saying that 3 weeks ago today, not even 2 weeks ago today. It's 67 degrees, and we've needed this rain so badly, so very, very grateful. But again, I chose right here to stop, and I decided to bring Sam hiking because he loves to hike. He was ready to go, and he's going to get wet anyway because he likes getting in the reservoir, but the reservoir's so low. And anyway, what I want to talk about today is recovering addiction, because I just started a journey once again that I needed very badly. And as my closest family and friends know, I've battled for several years just with PTSD, trauma, depression, anxiety, especially over some events in my life, and especially over a very tragic public event in 2010. But I've had periods that I've done really well, and then I always come back. Ooh, it's raining harder. And I had to put my little rain jacket over the phone because it locked up the first time. I think I got too much water on it when we started the hike, and I was texting a buddy in recovery. But yeah, if I don't work my mental, emotional, then I go downhill, and I'm addicted to numbing myself in any way, shape, or form. I have learned over the years, like when I came out of the closet, my family rejected me for 3.5 years, and that was tough, and I learned some very negative ways to cope. But those ways feel great for the moment. I hate to say it, but it just numbs you instantly, and you feel great. And when you don't respect your feelings, and you're not working your feelings, and you don't realize that it's okay to not be okay, then I went to numbing. And 3 weeks ago, I went on a 7-day binge that, rightfully, with the amount of crap I put in my body, I should have died. And near the end of it, I was on my knees asking God to take me. Hey, we'll get there. This is daddy time, and this is healthy daddy time, so I can be healthy for both of us. But anyway, I was asking God to take me. And even after the first meeting I went back out and just filled myself with so much poison. And then it was such a bad night, I got home and just prayed for God to deliver me one way or another. Well, that second night, I had a dear friend that she sure doesn't understand any of this, but she came to get me, and she took me to a meeting because I actually told her I'd been drinking, but I didn't. I escaped. And she took me to an open meeting, and it was great. It took me about 3 days to start feeling better. The only meeting I missed was on a Tuesday because I was just crying and comatose in bed and just so down. But I think, it's been 15 days that I started my sobriety journey, and it's going to be a lifelong journey, and I'm staying with it. But it's been 15 days, and I've been to, I think, 20 meetings, because I'm definitely going to do 90 and 90. I was very blessed that I don't go back to work until the 29th. I actually was offered a new job last week at a time that I sure didn't feel like I was even worthy of it. But I walked into an old employer and just said hi. I was buying some stuff, and he offered me a management position. So, good job, good pay, good benefits. I'm blessed there. But in the meantime, I've had a week, and now a second week I'm going into to work on myself and sobriety. My doctor and I met, and we changed my meds. We upped them, and I'm taking those every day, not putting anything else in my system. And then this weekend, something happened that was I'm just still blown away by it. It was the North Central Area Convention of Narcotics Anonymous for Indianapolis, for Indiana, so the North Central area region. And it was just, I'm just still in awe. I'd been invited to conventions before and heard about them because I've been in and out of some meetings, and I did a recovery program starting in 21. Was very successful for a while, but I was taking care of my aunt, and she ended up dying, and I even quit my job and took care of her on hospice. So went back out there not taking care of myself too much. And fast forward, this convention was just, I can't believe there was especially one moment that I was on such a spiritual, mental, and emotional high. And it was far higher than anything I could have ever received from anything I put in my body. So Saturday night at the convention, they celebrate clean time. And I'd say there were between 200 and 250 people there. They start with like 50 years and above, and then they go down yearly. And then just like our meetings, they celebrate 1 year to 1 year, then 9 months, 6 months. Then they do 90 days, 60 days, 30 days. At 30 days, they did individual day countdowns. I'm telling you what, and I was warned by this wonderful man named Daryl that was on the committee. He said, you better be ready, you're gonna be up there. And when they got to me, I'd said 14 days. I'd been 1 day off, I guess, but I've got my dates confused, but it doesn't matter, I'm sober. So anyway, at 14, I stood up and just yelled, 14 days. And the whole place went crazy. They went as crazy for me as they did for the man or woman with 42 or 47 years. I forget who had the highest. They went just as crazy. And I had no shame the whole weekend. I'm like, I am 14 days clean, I kept telling people. And I am proud of it. And people just hugged me. Well, after they announced that, everybody came hugging me from both sides. They put me in the aisle, and I've never received so many hugs. And I was in tears, and it was just phenomenal. And I even went back Sunday to help wrap up the conference. I hadn't planned on it. I was going to church, but I figured church will be there next week. These people will all be gone. And then I heard an amazing speaker from Nashville, Talisa. She was her emotions were so raw, and I was in tears. And oh my gosh, this chaplain from the VA, she spoke and was so powerful. And Sheila from Cincinnati had spoken, and one of them I went to. I can't remember all the names right now, but it was so powerful. And I just have to say, well, and another thing that happened is I met a lifelong brother. He and I have already been texting. He had a recent relapse, and it's so interesting. We are so completely different. He was a white nationalist for a while and didn't like gay people, black people, anything, but it was because where he had moved and he had to protect himself, and he just got the street mentality. But this dude is just a really cool powerhouse now, and we've been texting, and we're going to hold each other accountable. He lives not far from me, and I'm just so grateful to have met him. Steve, buddy, you've had such a huge impact on me already, and I'm grateful, and I look forward to things that we're going to do and explore together. And we also have some ideas to help those in recovery as long as we're taking care of ourselves, because we both have a heart for that. But anyway, I'm still off work, so today we came hiking. Tonight I'm going to a really cool meeting in Zionsville, Indiana, not far from my house. And I'm just full of gratitude. I thank all of those people that came to the convention. I thank all those people that came up to hug me and celebrate my short time. Because just 3 weeks ago, I was ready to put myself into the ground, and I really could have. And, you know, some of these people at the convention talked about hard stuff. They led hard lives, tough lives. Oh my gosh, this Chris from Plano, Texas, holy cow. His story was so powerful. And the things he went through, prison and everything, and he came out, and I think he said he now works in mental health. But anyway, you know, and I have so many people in my life that love me. I have so many good people, family and friends, that we didn't grow up around addiction like a lot of these people spoke. And I never thought I would struggle. I was most likely to succeed in high school. And even today, that accolade just makes me feel worse about myself when I think about it, because of everything that's happened. But I'm dealing with that as well. But I am just so grateful. I'm going to send this to some people from the conference, because y'all just gave me so much gas to fill my tank and help me keep going, because it's one day at a time. I can't promise I'll be sober tomorrow or next week, but if I keep working it one day at a time, I'm going to be, God willing, and work with the people in the program and keep calling these guys from the phone list. I've met so many wonderful guys. Went to a really cool meeting last night run by a guy named Kimon. He's just a great spirit with 10 years clean. And this young man named Luca that he doesn't have near as much time, but he's got such a spirit and he's working the program. And I could go on and on. So I dedicate this to those struggling today, especially if you were where I was and or are where I are now, where I was. I dedicate this to you. And I was told once that when an addict dies, they pay it forward for one to get clean. And I want to pay it forward with my life, not with my death. And maybe somebody lost their lives and then that spirit came to me to fight. And I don't know, but all I know is today is a great, great, beautiful day and a glorious day to be sober and alive, getting out from underneath my little jacket. And so thank you again for everybody in my life that helps me and that wants to help me. Like I said, my family and friends, I've had some that I just hid from, and if they knew I was going through all of this, they would have been right there. And they say call me, but when you get there, you don't want to call anybody. But just do it. Work, especially with those people who love you, even if they don't quite understand the addiction. If they love you, they're going to help you through it and walk with you and help see you through the journey. I don't like showing myself on these things. I'd rather show all the beauty of nature. I look at this as a visual podcast. And then people can just listen to it if they want, but there's no need to see me and my sappy, messy soul. So I'm just going to close with something that we close with every meeting, and it's so important, and that's the serenity prayer. So God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.